89.5. Is that right? 89.5 FM. 89.5. And we're glad you're here this morning. And we want you to enjoy the service. Join in the singing as they come to lead you. And let's just have a great time together.
Sing with
Yeah,
this
Jerry, it's
mask on.
89.5.
Take it off. We're going to
Voting
start with
98.5.
I'll Fly Away. So if you'll find I'll Fly Away on your sheet, it might be time to book to stay open. Okay.
to want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers here today. We're so glad you're here, and we just want to recognize you today and have a great time as we worship together and lift the Lord up and magnify Him all at the same time. We also wanted to call your attention to just a couple of announcements there in the bulletin. The guidelines for today on what we're doing and how to stay apart and this, that, and the other. You know all those things. You've heard that on the TV, I'm sure. And we're just trying to put it in practice today. We thank you for coming to the first drive-in service. And we may have a snowstorm before we get out of here, but we're gonna have worship anyway. And then don't forget to watch it on TV, on the internet. We'll be on the internet this afternoon with the service also. Let's go to the Lord in prayer this morning and ask Him to come and bless us and help us and guide us in this service. Father, we thank you today for your love and for your mercy. We thank you for the blessings of life. We thank you, Lord, for loving us. We thank you, Lord, for caring for us and watching out for us. Lord, in this midst of all the turmoil and all the strife and all the confusion and everything that's going on in this world, Lord, we're thankful that we have you. You never fail. You would never give up. You're always there. You always love us. You always see us through. Lord, we don't have to be dismayed. We don't have to be worried about anything, Lord. We just have to walk with you and talk with you. And Lord, you bring the calmness. You bring the peace. You bring the understanding. And Lord, you satisfy the longing of our hearts. And Lord, today, we just want to lift you up and magnify you. We thank you, Lord, for all the mothers that are here today. Oh, what an important part they play in the lives of our kids, in our lives, in the lives of our church. And Lord, we just want to exalt them today. We want to lift them up today. Lord, some of us don't have our mothers anymore that can be here, and we just thank you for them that we had when we had them as long as we did. And Lord, how they've made an impression on our lives. Now, Father, we pray that you continue to guide in the service, continue to bless in the music and everything that's said and done. And Lord, we'll not fail to give you the honor and the praise and the glory. In your name we ask it. Then we also want to thank everybody that's been here this morning, helped set up and this week getting things ready. And we appreciate that. We can't do this with just one person. It takes all of us working together. And we're thankful that you came because we were able to do that. May the Lord bless you in the remainder of the services.
Like me, who once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
see you. He was in your car this morning. It's been a long time, it seems like, since we've seen each other.
Hey, you're not working.
I'm sorry.
Not working.
Is everybody, can you hear it?
We're not hearing you. Oh, got it?
You okay?
Okay.
Well, some are okay and some aren't. Okay, all righty. Let me just say again, we're glad you came this morning, and thankful that we can see you. It's good for the family to be together. We do have some restrictions on how we can do this and that and the other, and we'll work through that. Next week, hopefully, we'll have the building available for restrooms, if you need restrooms. We just didn't get that all done this week. This morning, I want to look and think about our mothers. In Ephesians chapter 6, it says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth." Today, we're here to worship the Lord and honor our mothers. Not only are we commanded to honor our mothers, but it's also a sensible and loving thing to do. Many of us here today wished our mothers were here to be with us. As I sit down to begin to prepare for this service, for this message, my mind went back to the days with my mom and situations I put her in, and some of the things she's taught me and trained me. And I'll hit on a few of those here in the message this morning. I read an illustration about a little 6-year-old boy that was in the grocery store the other day with his mom, and he got separated, and all of a sudden he started hollering, "Martha, Martha." We got any Marthas here this morning? Well, Martha was in the grocery store, and she come around the corner and she said, "Jimmy, why are you calling me Martha? You know you're supposed to call me Mother." And he said, "I know that." He said, "But the grocery store full of mothers, and you're the only Martha." So he knew who he wanted to get a hold of. And sometimes, we just want to get a hold of Mom. Mom knows best, and she knows how to do things. Somebody has said you've turned into a mom when you automatically tie double knot everything that you tie. Or you hear a baby cry in the grocery store, and all of a sudden you start patting and moving back and forth as if you had the baby in your arms. Or you actually start to like the smell of strained carrots and mixed with applesauce. Or you spend a half hour searching for your sunglasses, and your teenage daughter says, "Mom, they're on top of your head." Ever been there? Or you go out with your sweetheart for a nice romantic meal, and you get ready to sit down to eat, and all of a sudden you realize that you're leaning over and starting to cut his steak up in small bites for him. Kind of interesting. And then I thought about something that our mothers have taught us. They've taught us to appreciate a job well done. They say if you're going to kill each other, do it outside. I just finished cleaning. They've taught us about religion. You better pray that will come out of the carpet. They've taught us about time travel. If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you into the middle of next week. Mothers also have taught us about foresight. Make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident. Mother taught us about irony. Keep crying, and I'll give you something to cry about. My mother taught me about the science of osmosis. Shut your mouth and eat your supper. Taught us about stamina. You'll sit there until the spinach is gone. I know somebody that had to sit there until the hominy was gone. And they would take it, and they had one of these round tables, and they had a round deal on top of the table, and they'd take it and poke it in underneath there. Or they'd find a little crack in the wooden table, and they'd put it in the crack of the table. And that's the way they ate their hominy, so they could get up and go do whatever they wanted to do. Mamas teach us all sorts of things. Another mother taught about weather. This room of yours looks like a tornado went through it. One taught about circle of life. I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it. Another mother taught about behavior modification. Stop acting like your father. Another one taught about anticipation. Just wait until we get home. You're going, and about receiving. You're going to get it when you get home. Then another one taught about medical science. If you don't stop crossing your eyes, the wind will change and you will stay like that. I hope you don't have your eyes crossed today. Then one taught about how to become an adult. If you don't eat your vegetables, you'll never grow up. Another taught about genetics. You act just like your father. Mom taught about your roots. Shut that door behind you. You think you were born in a barn? My mother taught me wisdom. When you get to be my age, you'll understand. Then your mother taught you about justice. I think I've said this to my kids. One day you'll have kids, and I hope they turn out just like you. Well, just some of the things that moms are kind of saddled with sometimes. But real seriously, if it had not been for my mother, I probably would not be where I am today. Other than Jesus, she had the greatest impression on my life. And she had a way of telling me to do things, and I better do them. And I knew that when she spoke, I better listen. She was smaller than I was, and now I want to tell you something. She can pack a mighty wallop, and she didn't play games when she spoke. We better listen. There's three things I want to look at this morning in Proverbs chapter 31. Three things that I see there that helps us to understand what a mother is. I want to look at her hands. Her hands work. I want to look at her mouth. Her mouth speaks. And I want to look at her heart. Her heart loves. Her hands work. One little boy got a job, and he was working with his father and boasting about it, boasting about how he got up at 5 a.m. and ate breakfast. And somebody asked him, does anybody else get up then too? He said, oh yeah, my mom gets up and fixes my breakfast for me. And when she's done doing that, she fixes breakfast for Dad. And what about your dinner? The boy said, well, Mom fixes that too. And does she have the afternoon off to do what she wants to do? Oh no, she doesn't do that. She cleans the house and looks after the other children, and gets supper for me and Dad when we get home, and we watch TV before we go to bed. But what about your mom? Well, that's when Mama does the ironing, and she irons while we watch TV. Well, do you get paid? Oh yeah, I get paid well, and my dad gets paid. Well, what about your mama? And he said, well, my mama doesn't work. And we wouldn't say that today. If we was in the sanctuary, you'd be going, ooh.
Honk your horn.
I'm surprised you didn't honk your horn. Yeah. I understand. But we know better, don't we? We know that Mom works from daylight to dark, and she just does a little bit of everything for us. In Proverbs chapter 31, verses 13, 19, and 22, it says she selects wool and works with eager hands. I think they're talking about her. She sews, and when I read that, I think about my mom and how she sewed. Mom was pretty good about anything she tried to do. She had a lot of talents, and she made some beautiful quilts. And I remember when my nieces and nephews were young, she would make dresses for them. And most generally, she done a pretty good job. But there were some days when she wasn't feeling just right or something. And when she got done with the dress, I felt so sorry for my nieces have to wear them. school or go out in public with them. But you know what? My mom made those with love, and she did that because if she didn't do it, they had not had anything. And so many times we look at what we have and what we've got, and we think that that's so poor and that's not very good. But we need to realize how it was given to you. And my mom made every stitch of those dresses. She put in with a stitch of love and held it together, and was a special lady. And then it says there in verse 14, bringing her food from afar. She shops. My mom not only sewed, but my mom was a shopper. We got welfare, and she got it once a month. And once a month she'd go to the town, go to the grocery store, the A&P. She'd take 2 carts down through the grocery aisle, and she'd fill up for a month. I remember she got $64 a month to pay all the utilities, to keep the heat, everything on. Didn't have air conditioning other than just the wind blowing through the house. And she never ran out of food. She always had food. She was a shopper. She watched her P's and Q's. When it come Christmas time, we always had a big Christmas because she had watched through the year and bought sale items, this and that and the other. And everybody had gifts. She was a shopper. And I think about moms today. You have to be a shopper. We've got some moms in our church that, man, I just don't know how they make it sometimes. But man, they do super. And I just want to say, you're a great mom today, and exalt you today. And then my mom was a cook. Verse 15 says she provides food for her family. My mom started a little late in night working out. She started working as a dishwasher in the local school, and worked her way up to head cook over the high school. She had 6 or 7 cooks underneath her. My mom could put on a spread for you. Man, if you came to her house, if today was Mother's Day and you came to her house and you was a mama and she knew you was coming, she would have, she'd have roast beef and ham and turkey and chicken, and she'd have mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes. She'd have gravy. She'd have cranberry salad. She'd have 5-cup salad. She'd have pistachio salad. She'd have baked beans. She'd have cottage cheese. She'd just have anything you can imagine. She'd have pickles. She'd have all that stuff out there. And then she'd have all those desserts. Blackberry cobbler. Oh, yeah. Persimmon pudding. She'd have some type of chocolate cake for somebody. She'd have a pumpkin pie and an apple pie. If you was a member of the family, whatever you liked and whatever you wanted, she had it on those special days. My mom was a good cook. I remember around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, she'd get in the kitchen and she'd begin to put that yeast in those bowls and that flour in there and begin to mix all that stuff together with the lard, and then she'd pitch those biscuits out of that raw dough and put them on that tray, and about the time they got done, she'd take these over to Aunt Opal, and take these over to Aunt Mabel, and call Eddie and have him come and get these. Call Uncle Kenny and tell him to come and get these. And she'd make homemade light bread rolls for everybody in the family. People look at me kind of funny when I say I'm not really excited about light bread. I grew up on that stuff, and not many people can make it better than my mom made it. So she was a cook, and people knew her for that. And I believe moms have to be cooks. And then she was a gardener. I remember as a little boy, we put out gardens that probably about the size of right here, and we'd all go out and work in the garden, and those fresh vegetables come on because we had a garden. She was one that stood out that way. Our text says that the mothers in verse 15 get up while it's still dark, and the lamp does not go out at night. I remember nights that I remember days that she would be up early in the morning, preparing and taking care of things for people. And then it says her mouth speaks. In chapter 31, verse 26, she speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. John Wesley was a student at Oxford University. He went there and he realized that they were drinking and doing some things that they shouldn't. And he asked his mom, Susanna Wesley, for counsel. And she told him these words. She said, "My dear son, remember that anything which increases the authority of the body over the mind is an evil thing." That's pretty good counsel from a mom. That's pretty good counsel from anybody. We need to realize that and understand that. And Susan Wesley was a great lady. Somebody asked Winston Churchill one day to give an approval of the list of all those who had been his teachers. And they had the great list of teachers there that had taught him. And when the list came back, he said, "Well, they're all on here except the one you mentioned is the greatest teacher of all." And they said, "Well, who's that?" And he said, "My mother. She taught me everything." G. Campbell Morgan was a great preacher, and he had 4 sons, and they all become great preachers. One day at a reunion, somebody said to one of the younger boys, said, "Who's the greatest preacher in your family?" He said, "My mother," and because Mom was always there and always taught her. And then lastly, her heart loves. Her heart loves. Proverbs 31:11-12 says, her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. If a husband has full and complete confidence in his wife, then you know that she's a woman who loves her man. Someone had on the epitaph of his wife's tombstone, after 60 years of marriage, he had to put on there, "She always made home happy." Home has to be a happy place. You know that? It has to be a place you can go and just be yourself and enjoy each other and have a happy atmosphere and be cheerful about it. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine." When there's a lot of laughter in the home, someone's putting out some good medicine, and it all shows a lot of love. Somebody asked Jimmy in math class, the teacher did, said, "Jimmy, if your mom made a apple pie for dinner Sunday, and your family was the only ones there, there were 8 kids and two adults, mom and dad, how big of a piece of pie would you get?" Jimmy DeLay thought for a minute. He said, "I'd get a 9." The teacher looked at him and said, "Jimmy, there were 10 people around the table. Do you not know your fractions? Do we need to go back and look those over again and refresh your memory of them?" Jimmy said, "No, I know my fractions, but I know my mother even better." And she'd say she didn't want any pie. The unselfishness of a mother shows a heart of love for her family. And all of us can remember many unselfish acts of devotion our moms have made to our home. In closing, Thomas Edison once said, "I did not have my mother long, but she cast over me an influence which has lasted all my life. The good steps of her early training I could never lose. If it had been for her appreciation and her faith in me at critical time in my experience, I should never likely have become an inventor. I was always a careless boy and with a mother of different mental caliber. I should have turned out badly, but her firmness, her sweetness, her goodness, her potent powers to keep me in the right path. My mother was making of me. The memory of her will always be a blessing to me." What a loving tribute to a blessed mother. Her Proverbs 31:28. Her children arise and call her blessed, and her husband also, and he praises her. Well, God's good, isn't he? God knows when it's time to shut up. He just plays a little song on the piano for you. And so we're going to do that. Hey, we're glad you came today, and we hope this has been a blessing to you. And we hope you come back next week, and we're going to try to do her again with the Lord's help and everybody, all the other people's help that have helped in this service. May the Lord bless you today. Somebody asked about the offering. Brother Baum will be out here at the end of the drive. We have a bucket, and you can drop some money in there if you want to, some offering in there as you leave. If you don't want to, that's fine. You don't have to. We're just glad you came this morning. And I know some sent it in through the mail and different things. We appreciate the way you've stood behind the church in your giving in these days. And thank you for that, and trust you'll continue to do so in the days ahead. Well, may the Lord bless you. Let's have a season of prayer, shall we? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for letting the weather be decent today for us to be here. Lord, for not making it real cold. Lord, for the rain holding off. Lord, for giving us a good day to lift you up and magnify you and praise you and give you glory. We pray this morning now, Lord, that you would be with our congregation. Go with them as they go to their separate homes. Keep your hand upon them. We pray, Lord, for every mother here this morning. Would you bless them? And Lord, would you help them to know how much we love them and appreciate them? And Lord, would you give us a good week this week? And bring us back next week, ready to serve you and worship you and do what you have us to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you.